Let's start off by agreeing that serving wine is not complicated. Most guests will just be happy to enjoy the wine with you, and they're not going to worry if you err on some of the finer points. But there are a few simple things to keep in mind that will make the experience more enjoyable for you and your guests. The first is serving temperature. Temperature can make a big difference to the taste of a wine, and is one of the easiest factors to control. White wine should be served at a cool temperature, which gives the wine a lighter, more refreshing quality. The cooler temperature also helps bring out the delicate flavors in many light-bodied white wines. However, balance is key. If it's served too cold, the temperature will actually mask the subtle flavors. Ideally, white wines should be chilled for 15 to 20 minutes just prior to drinking. The exceptions are champagnes or sparkling wines, which really need to chill for about 30 minutes. Red wines taste best when they're served at 60 to 65 degrees. You may have heard that red wine should be served at room temperature, but that rule of thumb dates back to a time before homes had the modern heating systems we have today. 60 degrees was room temperature. The ideal temperature can be achieved by chilling red wine for about 5 minutes prior to serving. So how exactly do you chill a bottle of wine properly anyway? I've known many wine drinkers who attempt to chill their wines in the refrigerator or freezer, or even use fancy wine chilling devices that supposedly bring your bottle to the optimal temperature. But really the fastest and most effective way to chill a bottle of wine is in a bucket, filled with half ice and half cold water. Believe it or not, this method is faster and more effective than placing the bottle in the refrigerator or even the freezer. Another very common question is whether a wine should be aerated or decanted. While the terms are sometimes used interchangeably, aerating and decanting are really two different things, so let's look at each individually. Aerating is essentially just the process of exposing the wine to air. This can help soften or open up the wine so that it tastes less harsh and the flavors can be more fully appreciated. Aerating is beneficial for very young, tannic red wines, such as Cabernet Sauvignon or even Merlot. Simply opening up a bottle of wine and allowing it to sit does not constitute aerating it. To properly aerate a wine, you need to expose more of the surface area of the wine to the air. This can be accomplished by pouring the wine into a decanter. A decanter is a serving vessel specifically made for wine that typically has a wide base. When poured inside, the wine is able to mix with the surrounding air. But if you don't have a wine decanter, a simple pitcher will do the job just as well. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. Because a decanter can be used to aerate a wine, many people use the terms aerate and decant interchangeably. However, decanting a wine is technically different than aerating it. Decanting is the process of separating the clear wine from any sediment that has settled in the bottle. To decant a wine, you simply allow the wine bottle to rest until any sediment has settled at the bottom. Then carefully open the bottle without agitating the sediment, and pour the clear wine slowly into a wine decanter, leaving the sediment behind in the bottle. The majority of wines you will encounter do not need to be decanted, because they will have very little, if any, sediment. Decanting is only necessary for much older red wines, typically at least 10 years old. If you do encounter one of these wines, it should be decanted for about an hour before serving. And finally, let's talk about wine glasses. One can find an infinite selection of styles, colors, and materials to choose from, but if your goal is really to appreciate the qualities of the wine, not the glass it comes in, then simple is best. The ideal wine glasses should have a large bowl to allow room for swirling the wine to release the aromas, and a narrow rim at the top to help push those aromas towards the nose. Clear glasses are preferred over colored ones, so you can easily appreciate the color and clarity of the wine. And be sure the glasses have a stem to hold. Stemless wine glasses are a modern trend, but the warmth from your hands will actually heat the wine as you drink it. When serving, always fill the glasses just halfway so there's enough room for the drinker to swirl the wine without causing a spill. The exception to all of these rules is champagne or sparkling wine. Champagne should be served in a wine flute and filled nearly to the top of the glass. This best encourages that steady stream of bubbles to keep rising to the top.